Okay, this is a Grandpa's Goodie Getter nutcracker. We're going to look at it in just a second. My good buddy Daniel Meinson, that I do the 5 Acre Parables podcast. I always mix that up. Together with, he is the main guy. I just talk on there for the most part. And we have episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and there are links on Facebook under 5 Acre Parables. Huh?
Also on Apple.
It might be on Apple. I don't remember where all they put it. Like I said, I just talk. They do the technical stuff too. But he got this at an auction for $5. I don't think he even knew what it was at the time, he said. And then, come to find out, Grandpa's Goodie Getter is the best walnut cracker out there, or on the top end of walnut crackers, along with the Master Nutcracker as well. So this is the older version. The newer versions are yellow. And this one came with the small nut ram. I have magnets sticking the ram to the sides, so I always know where it is at. But it just sits in here taller for smaller nuts. How this works is you take the handle and push it back. It turns a cam. This part moves the slider bar back and drops the ram down. We put a nut. These are pear-shaped walnuts from a tree just down the road. You get it down in there. It raises up to the right spot, and then it has a pretty short throw, but you can see it does a good job of cracking out. I also bought these shears, so you can see in that, like here's a nice quarter that came out, and the rest, there's another quarter that came out. Quarters are really nice. They look nice if you're doing stuff at home with the nuts. For this that is kind of stuck in there, well, that'll open up. So that could have been done better by me. There's still some meat in there. But this one, it has a little bit of a crack there. We're going to use these shears that you can buy from Grandpa's Goodie Getter. And there was a fault line there where it had cracked. Go ahead and get that quarter on out. So 3/4 and a couple of 1/8. Nice job. You can go getting the rest of that in a second. I'm going to do another one. This is a shorter nut, more like your average walnut. And you'll learn to go by feel on when to stop. This is a really, really nicely cracked nut. You can see it's coming off in pieces. Does a good job. Doesn't take a lot of effort to pull this. Really, well, come on out of there. Does a really nice job of getting these started. So you're not going to set any speed records cracking walnuts by hand with any cracker, but this is about as fast as it goes. Gets the nicest looking meats. It definitely beats a hammer or a vise like some people do. There's a nice nut meat. You can see it. This is a smaller one than the ones out of those pear-shaped ones. I'm trying to get a half. I'm not probably going to get it. I'm not usually nice enough with it to go ahead and get a half. But I'm trying, since we're on camera. And, oh, we were so close to getting a whole kernel. It's just not going to happen. So go ahead and tear that apart so we can get that core out. Come on out of there. And you can be a lot rougher, a lot faster. There's a nice piece, and there's a half that I messed up just a tiny bit, but that's a pretty good nut meat there. And I have a couple of shagbark hickories that I managed to get from some squirrels in the woods. You should have seen all the holes around the base of that tree. Nicely cracked. And that's going to be a blank. That's why I beat the squirrels to it. Let's try this one. It's also probably a blank, but you can see no problem at all with these hickory nuts. It'd be a little bit different if it was better nut meat. And yeah. We'll do another one of these football ones. It's a little bit harder to get this one in, but it does a nice job of taking care of these really hard to crack nuts. If you take a cheap nut cracker and you try to crack these black walnuts, you know just how difficult they can be. And this cam system that it has works really well. If you watch the Grandpa Goodie Getter videos on YouTube, there's a nice quarter. If you watch them on YouTube, they will tell you the only maintenance you really have to do on these, for the most part, is this cam right here. You need to grease it. Whenever it's new, you grease it more. This is an older one. I made sure and slathered quite a bit of grease on it and keep up with it. But just keep that cam greased, because there's a lot of metal on metal sliding. And so it takes really a little bit of grease is the only thing you need to keep it going. Overall, it's easy to take apart and clean. These springs are a little difficult to get on and off if you're fiddling with them. The new versions are painted different, and they're supposed to be higher quality. But again, this old one is plenty good. And for just somebody cracking walnuts for fun in the wintertime, it is going to be a hard machine to beat. So overall, really nice machine. It does a really good job of cracking out black walnuts and getting you nice pieces that look good whenever you're giving them to somebody, if you're doing it as a gift, or if you are doing a dessert and you want some nice big pieces of nuts on top. For the most part, they don't care about size in the commercial cracking, but for cracking at home, they just look better to have quarters and halves and such. So overall, really great machine. I'm thankful Daniel sent it our way. And these shears are worth getting from Grandpa's Goodie Getter. I think it was like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, something like that, for buying these shears and shipping. You can buy different versions in the store that are a little bit cheaper, but these do really well as well. Overall, really nice machine. It works really well for its intended purpose of cracking walnuts out. Works well for other nuts, and with the small nut ram, we can do wild pecans and other things as well really easily too. So overall, it's worth getting. If you're thinking about getting a nutcracker, I would buy a good one once instead of several cheap ones trying to save a little bit of money. Go ahead and save up, spend the extra money on a good nutcracker if you're thinking about cracking a decent amount of nuts. And that's it. Thank you guys. Don't forget to check out the podcast, 5 Acre Parables podcast, as well as subscribe to our channel as well.